It's important to remember why boards were put into place originally. It's not meant to be an arm of the administration or a way to boost your social standing. Rather, a critical bridge between the community and the administration. This is big. If you don't agree or just are plain uninterested in doing the job the way it was intended, or if the job has just been more than you bargained for, please consider resigning. Because these positions are too important to be filled by those unwilling to represent the community and find win-win solutions that care for all students. Paying lip service really doesn't count. Number 2, stop hiding things from parents in the community. You may think you are taking control and doing your job, but what you fail to remember is treating parents like they are a nuisance and making important decisions behind closed doors, and then refusing to notify parents of these decisions always fails in the long run, one way or another. Even if you don't get caught, it's wrong and dishonest. Respect is a two-way street. It's not right to ask for something you are not willing to give yourself. Being kept in the dark makes folks pretty upset and willing to take action. Number 3, if you remained unconvinced on Wednesday, where the overwhelming majority of the community stood on the issue, despite the turnout, despite hearing from compassionate and articulate and caring parents, then you should have found a way and held off on the vote. Or maybe sometime in the last 2 years you could have taken a survey or done community input sessions, something, anything. You've been talking about the strategic plan, spending money to engage the community. Why on earth was the community not engaged in this issue? You should have told the feds, we'll figure this out on our own first and get back to you. Their lawless redefinition of Title IX is flat out wrong and not holding up in court. The Office for Civil Rights, curiously, despite its name, cares little about civil rights for all. The actions of the OCR shows it is only concerned with wants and demands of a few in the name of civil rights. To give in to them while claiming it was a compromise that respected all students, that was just a display of dishonesty and lack of leadership. A real compromise would have protected civil rights of all students while giving accommodations to those who need them. Sure, not everyone would have gotten what they wanted, but the civil rights for all, yes all, including those with unique privacy requests, would have been intact. Instead, you've opened the door to now actual civil rights violations. The proper answer would have been, see you in court, because the funding could not have been taken away without a fair hearing, at least according to the attorneys that I've counseled with. The way to give in to them was telling the other kids, you just aren't worth fighting for. And to console yourselves by saying, well, other districts are doing the same thing and they're not being transparent either, that's no excuse. 2 wrongs, 3 wrongs, however many wrongs do not make a right. Don't we tell our kids not to follow those making bad decisions? Why as adults would we follow along with the crowd on unlawful decisions rather than standing on our own? You're supposed to be role models. So where do we go from here? My personal recommendation, although I agree completely with the previous speaker, is to adopt a policy that separates bathrooms and locker rooms by anatomy. It's common sense, it's reasonable. If you refuse to do that and you don't understand where the community is on this, put it on the ballot in 2016. Per school code, by a vote of the majority of the members of the school board, may authorize an advisory question of public policy to be placed at the next regularly scheduled election in the school district. It's critical the community voice is heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Board. We've seen a lot of each other lately and probably should keep up the dialogue. I think we will. I've done a lot of listening as you have, although probably haven't not put in as much time as you have in terms of the hours of considering this issue. But I've thought about it a lot, as many of these parents have. And I've thought about it because I'm a parent of 2 daughters and a son. I'm a taxpayer in the district, and yes, I am also an elected official. But I'm here primarily because I'm a parent. And I think about my own kids. I don't let them, as they're getting older, I don't let them use the same facilities. Because it's common sense to separate them. It says a lot when apolitical people are grabbing me at the train station or at the grocery store and they're saying, what the heck is going on? And you're in elected office, are you going to do something about it? Primarily, I stayed out initially because I thought this is just an issue between District 211 and the federal government, and our school board can handle it, and it seems like they're doing the right thing, they're pushing back. But then that agreement was held in secret and voted on without community input. We didn't even know what it was. The board voted on it, and boom, that was it. And then I realized I had to increase my involvement. And I intend to continue to do so. The federal government is strong-arming districts like District 211. And as I find out, it's happening more and more around the state of Illinois and the country. And what this board agreed to was unnecessary. You agreed to far too much. It's too costly. It's too harmful to our kids. And it sets a terrible precedent for this district and also the other schools around the state. That restroom policy that has been in place for a couple of years should have been implemented only with community input first. I think this district disrespected the parents and the students by putting it into effect. Please, I need to get through all of my remarks. Also, the locker room accommodation that you came up with, it's problematic for many reasons. Logistically, it's not going to work. And as we heard from those many brave students on Monday night, it's not going to protect their safety or their privacy. It's problematic also because the vast majority of District 211 students are minors. They're minors. And for those who stated, well, the students don't seem to have a problem with this. Again, they're minors. It's their parents and their guardians who are primarily responsible for their well-being. Students don't make consequential decisions on their own. And shame on the schools for making these consequential decisions and policies without including us parents or our input. It's also naive to think that District 211 settlement with one student is going to solve this sensitive problem. And as District 211 has been in the news, I found that this has been an issue under the radar for many, many parents and many, many districts and many, many students. And that is unfair. It's wrong. Because what we have now is a very confusing patchwork of policies regarding restroom and locker room access. And they're almost all based on very subjective standards. You know, if a student presents themselves as female enough or male enough, I don't know how a district or a school is going to weigh that unless you have a clear, objective framework. And I think you can do that in a responsible way, in a caring way, in a respectful way, where everyone's rights are protected. Now, if you wonder why people keep coming out to these meetings, why we're so upset, why we sit through hours and hours of testimony and subject ourselves to whatever, name calling, whatever, it's because in these bathrooms and in these locker rooms, we expect a reasonable amount of privacy. Otherwise, why even have separate spaces? Why even have separate spaces? What if the schools decided to put security cameras in the restrooms and didn't tell anybody? You would obviously expect people to be very upset. Now, other colleagues of mine in the General Assembly on both sides of the aisle, they share my concerns, our concerns. They believe that the state probably should look into a statewide policy that helps schools, helps school districts, so that other schools and communities don't have to go through the turmoil that we have, that you have. And if we establish policies based on an objective, rational, reasonable framework by male and female, by anatomy, it will solve a lot of these problems. If schools and school districts want to make special accommodations for some students, they should be able to do so, but they can do it and protect the rights of all the students. And just finally, this issue, it cuts across party affiliation, it cuts across race, religion, age, just about every dynamic you can consider. And that's why so many students, the overwhelming number, want a stable, objective, reasonable policy. And that's why I'm proud to stand with them, and why I'm going to fight for them. And I would urge you to join with me. Let's solve this together, but let's do it in a way where we're not forced into something that is going to be harmful and difficult to implement and enforce as we go on. So thanks for your time and your attention. Thank you.